These new plastics and these baits right here, this is something that I leave tied on all the time because it's not just a grass bait. Obviously it works great in the grass, but this thing works ideal around any type of cover that I want to get a topwater bait into. So for me, one of my favorite things to do is fish this around docks. And I know you guys probably got plenty of docks out here, and if any lakes that you've got that got docks, this is one of the best dock baits that there is. You know, forget the grass fishing, because you can skip that underneath that dock, and you're not going to do that with your spook. You pick up a topwater spook and try to skip it under a dock, it's going to be a long day, because you're going to have some bad casts on that deal. But on this right here, this frog right here will skip, go back in there, and you're going to walk the frog with it, and it's going to make that safe. And you can pause it, and it sits there. Work it quickly, work it fast. You know, it's very versatile, and that's why I like to use it. Any baits that I can, because I travel around the country, I don't have the luxury of just fishing one lake and really getting into the details of that lake and finding a one bait. I need baits that are versatile because I fish a lot of different water. We fish rivers and reservoirs and natural lakes, so I need something that's versatile. This dude right here fits the bill. That's why out of the baits that I like to use crankbaits and jigs are my favorite two baits, and both of those baits have the same versatility. And so for me to make a living, that's what I have to be. I have to be versatile and use a lot of baits that will work in a variety of situations. Now, if I'm pinpointing a certain fish or a certain lake, maybe this is not the best bait for it. You know, whatever lake it is that you like to fish doesn't have that type of structure. So you're going to think, well, I've tried it, this doesn't work for me. But given its ability to work in a lot of places, that's why I like to fish it. But so back to the frog here, the reason I like the live target frog the best is this is really the only frog out there that's made to catch bass. And you think, how is that possible? All the other frogs on the market are originally made to catch snakeheads. That's what it's for. I've been to Japan and I've been to China, and even in their tackle stores, these will be hanging up under the banner of snakehead baits. That's where they use these for, because the snakehead, as you know, is that predator that sits on top of that grass, and this is an ideal bait for that. So the material they use, if any of you ever seen a snakehead or one of the fish like it, like we catch a lot of them in Florida, they're called, real similar to that, the American, U.S. version of the snakehead, which is a bowfin, mudfish, grinnell, dogfish, whatever you want to call it. It's that really long, armor-plated, basically, fish, and it's got a set of teeth in it that are not cutting type teeth, but they are made to grab and puncture and hold on to things. So these baits were designed to withstand the bite force of a snakehead. So the material is very thick, and it has to be made to hold up to that. This bait right here is made out of a different material, which is much thinner, and it's made to collapse easier because it's not made to catch snakeheads. It's made to give way under the bite of a bass. That's why the hookup ratio on this one right here, the live target one, comes in just a million different colors. We got 3 different sizes. That's why this one works so much better on your hookup ratio. I know if you've ever been frustrated by missing fish with this, 2 things can happen. One is it doesn't give away, and you just pull the bait out of the fish's mouth. The next thing is it is hard as heck to not jerk when you see that explosion. I mean, I've been fishing on Guntersville before where when that frog bite is really on, and these fish will come right up through that mat. It's literally like reeling it around a landmine. And we just reeling it around waiting for that explosion. And you almost have to look the other way to keep from just jerking from that thing, from just seeing the fish come through. You think he's got to have it. Did you see that explosion? And here comes a frog sailing back behind you. And so what I'll do is I'll try to pay attention to something else. And when it bites like that, and wait till you feel the fish. Just like if you was fishing any other soft plastic bait, when you get a bite on something like this, make sure the fish has got it, because many times they'll strike the bait, miss it, but if you just leave the bait there or just keep working it a little bit, work it a little slower, the fish will come back and get it again. If you sail it back by the boat, most of the time you're not going to get that second chance. But if you can keep your nerves of steel up and just keep waiting until you see the fish get it, the bait disappears, and then watch your line until you actually feel that the fish has got it, then set the hook. And your hookup ratio is going to go through the roof, because it is so easy to get too excited on these baits and miss them. But the next thing great about this frog right here is the hook is made for that frog. The frog body was made, and then the hook was made after the fact. So the frog is not made to an existing hook. This hook was made for the frog. That's why when you can take and you can rub your hands right down, those hook points sit right on the side of the body of that frog. That makes it that much more weedless. Stuff it comes right through where you want it to come through. That's what makes, to me, the live target frog the best one. Like I say, it comes in 3 sizes. We got a real small one, a medium size. The medium one is probably the best seller, the most popular one, but I still like the original, the big size right there. I can throw it a mile. It's really easy to cast, very user-friendly. To make it work, it's real simple. You can make an overhand cast, or if you're trying to get it underneath the dock or something, sidearm it, skip it underneath there, skip it underneath, engage your reel, and what you're going to do is you're going to start working the bait. If you work it fast, what will happen is the frog will have this head bobbing action. It'll start working through the water like that, but it really looks like something trying to get away. It has a real injured look. If that cadence isn't working for me, I'm fishing some of these areas like, man, I should have got a bite. I'll change the way I'm working the bait. And what I'll do is I'll fish it much slower, jerk the rod tip a little bit, and the bait will start this side to side. You can basically walk the frog there with it and walk it back and forth. And you'll see that bait, when you give it a little jerk, give it a little bit of slack too. Don't reel up that slack. And what happens is when you jerk it, that slack allows the frog to turn back to this side and this side. Just takes a little bit of practice. They're really easy to use. Like any other, say a spook or topwater bait like that. Once you kind of find that little rhythm to it, it's really easy to use. So, anybody got any questions about the frog? You might have the line I use. Good point. I missed out on 90% of the time I use braid on a frog. It works so much better. If you're using it around grass, 100% of the time I use braid. The only time I don't use it is like in a really clear situation, or if I'm fishing around some open water, I'll really just throw it on any type of whatever I got tied on there. Usually it's a bigger fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon has a tendency to sink these, so it's not as easy to use. But if I'm working the frog fast, the fluorocarbon is not going to pull it down for you. So use a braid, and use the bigger braid too. Start at least around 20 or 30 pound test and go up to maybe the 30 or 40. If you're using real heavy, around real heavy grass, you might go higher than that. But you get higher than that, you start to lose your ability to throw it very far. You kind of, once it gets past that 40 pound range in the braid, I use the Sunline FX2 frogging and flipping line, and they've got a new one out called SX1, which is the smaller version. Starts at 10 pound test, but 10 pound in the frog is sort of a little borderline for me. I'd rather go at least to the 20 to 40 pound in the braid. As far as the rods go, to go with that, I'll use a heavy action rod. If I'm trying to get it around docks where it's really hard to get it underneath there, still with a longer, heavier action rod, I can still skip it back underneath there, much like I would. I mean, I don't have any problem getting a jig underneath the dock with a flipping stick, and it's 7.5 foot. So I wouldn't go any shorter than a 7 foot rod on this.